to the depths that he sunk. Big stress, depressed in the middle of fall. Sky gray, I lay in the thick of it all. I wonder, how long can a human survive just staying alive or carrying the rest of the tribe? Waiting for the day to arrive or struggling dies, and I be doing way, way more than getting by. So why? Cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Realize life is so much more than just living a day. Every day I can sit and reflect and reconnect to myself and all that I've been given. See, giving up is not an option. So while I'm looking at gray skies, I'll be adopting a new way to deal with a test. Lord, relieve me of stress. The ring be looking like when blessings drop in. And so I cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, here we go. Yeah, let's do this. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Test. Let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord.
Warning, the following image and/or content may be disturbing, offensive to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
We live, y'all. What's up with it? Salute, salute, salute. Welcome. Welcome to the lounge. Welcome to the lounge. Welcome to the lounge. Welcome to the lounge. Salute, salute, salute. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all get Get them thumbs up, man. We got another one, incredible show tonight that I want to share with y'all. This particular show is going to be different from the normal content that I cover, but y'all do got to keep in mind that I also cover trending topics as well too. Yes, I do. Sure do. It ain't always about relationships. It ain't always about religion and different things like that, but I also cover trending topics as well too. And this particular topic or conversation that we're going to have tonight, it is trending. Those of y'all who are not familiar with this situation, y'all must be living under a rock or something for real. I ain't lying. I ain't lying. So it is trending. It is a trending situation that happened. This situation happened in Jacksonville, Florida. It happened around by February, I believe February 13th, when this situation has happened. All right. So make sure y'all get the thumbs up, man, because as y'all know, I'm going to give you my perspective about this overall situation. I'm going to share with you, different truths about this, which includes videos and body cam footage and all kind of other footage as well too. So without further ado, let's go and get into this content. All right. So once again, we're diving into this content. We're going to be talking about the incident that happened in Jacksonville, Florida. The suspect in question we're going to be talking about is Mr. McNeil, if I'm not mistaken, William McNeil. Just to give you a quick background, right? He was pulled over February the 13th for a traffic violation. The traffic violation had the traffic violation had dealt with it dealt with I believe a light issue or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It dealt with a light issue. It dealt with that he was supposed to have his headlight on, and it was like in inclement weather and different things like that. All right. So, long story short, end up escalating and end up going into a situation that shouldn't have happened at all. Period. Y'all give me one moment. I need to take care of something real quick. All right, give me one second. Okay. No, yeah. Give me 1 second. All right, I'll be right back. Appreciate y'all being patient, man. Sorry about that. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this content. All right, so the first video that I'm going to share with y'all today, I'm going to share with you the actual incident itself. So y'all let me know what you think about this. All right, let's get it.
When he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right? Okay. And then I said, so what I did wrong? Yeah. He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, okay. There's multiple people headlights off, first of all, and then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
33 at 15 hours.
I'm here. What is your reason, sir?
Step out. What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right. No, don't.
Stop fighting.
Put your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm resisting.
Hands behind your back.
What's wrong with you?
I was putting my hands behind my back.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
Now, real quick, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but the officer in question, he in this particular video, he has struck the suspect not only once but twice. So I'm going to show that part to you again so you can see that. Okay, right after when he used his instrument to pop the window. All right. He struck the window. Then afterwards, he has struck the suspect as well too. All right. So, and the thing about it is that I want y'all to determine if this was justifiable for this officer to do this, or was this a excessive use of force. All right. So let's take a look. Take a look at this.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
Now, after when the officers open up the door and they pull him out, or drag him out, you're going to see the same officer uppercut him one more time before he go down to the ground.
Show me your hands.
Here.
33 at 15 hours.
I'm here. What is your reason, sir?
Step out.
What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right. No, don't.
Yeah, right at this moment right here, this is when the same officer literally gave him an uppercut on his chin and struck him, and then they're now dragging him down.
Stop fighting.
Put your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm resisting.
Hands behind your back.
What's wrong with you?
I was putting my hands behind my back.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
I'm fucking talking shit, bro. I was doing it, bro. What's going on, man?
You're under arrest. That's what's going on.
No, bro.
Yes, bro.
You
Yes.
have a lawful reason,
Big
bro.
knife center right there too.
You gonna throw me going like that, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of you,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all, bro.
That's not how it works.
Too late.
It ain't gonna too late.
When they asked you to step out of the vehicle, you should have done that shit.
Sir, your partner didn't even ask. Your
Marijuana
partner
in his
didn't-
right pocket.
Yes, it is.
So why close the door if you see him pull up?
Because, man, what you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do nothing.
It's called
wrong.
resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong, sir. Can you back me up to the car so I can lean up? Shut up.
Now, I want y'all to understand something. The responding officer was saying that he was being arrested for resisting. To be honest with you, that is far from the truth. All right. This suspect, he did not, Mr. McNeil, he did not resist the officer in that particular way. But however, he can be charged for obstruction. Okay. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm going to show you other videos as well too. I'm showing you the actual body cam footage of the officers from their point of view, so you can see the whole beginning and ending of this particular incident. All right. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask y'all this question: just by y'all just seeing this particular video that he filmed, do you believe that this particular video that Mr. McNeil filmed is justifiable, that it can be used in the court of law? And there's a reason why I'm asking y'all this question, all right? Because the next video that we're gonna witness is that we're gonna hear the sheriff talk about this, all right? And one of his explanations that he's gonna talk about is this particular video, okay? So do y'all believe that this video is justifiable to show exactly what happened in this traffic stop? What would y'all think? I do have my own perspective about this as well too, about this traffic stop. My perspective is this, all right? I do believe in that if you are in control of de-escalating the situation, then by all means, you should go ahead and de-escalate that situation. What do I mean by that? First of all, with Mr. McNeil, right? This situation could have been de-escalated by him simply listening to the officer command. Okay, and I want y'all to stay with me on this. All right. Now, I'm not sitting up here saying what the officer did was justifiable for us him punching him, because I don't agree with that at all. Because I believe that that's excessive use of force, to be honest with you. But however, to de-escalate situation where you could go home in peace, where you're not going home all busted and bruised up and in jail, it's best for you to use emotional intelligence in these type of situations, meaning that if the officer is giving you a actual command for you to literally show your identification and show these different things, then by all means do that. If you don't have that, just tell them, I don't have that, officer. I don't have that information on me. It's better for you to just go ahead and go to court and deal with this instead of pleading your case out in public street during this traffic stop. To be quite honest with y'all, to be quite real with y'all, I have been in situations where the officer literally have pulled me over for whatever type of traffic infraction. Guess what I did? I complied with them. I gave them my license, gave my registration. They wrote me a ticket, and guess what? They gave me a court date. Showed up within 15 days of that court date. Went to the judge, and guess what? 99% of the time, that traffic infraction ticket is going to be dismissed. Or the worst case scenario is that they're going to want to defer it. Or the worst case scenario is that you're going to have to take a defensive driver class, which that's less than $20 or $30. Less than $20 or $30 versus literally getting arrested and having an arrest warrant on your record. Make that make sense? So it's better for you to use emotional intelligence in that situation and allow the courts to do what they do, where you could go into the courts and plead your case versus being ignorant on this. All right. So we're going to examine what the sheriff has said about this. Okay. So let's go. Well, sorry. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and look at what his family had to say about this, because Mr. McNeil and his family have spoke about this. All right. So let's see what they have to say about this. All right.
Hello, I'm Latoya Solomon. I'm Williams McNeil's mother. He's my firstborn. He's also my only son. I have 4 children. He is the only boy. I have 3 girls. The day I seen that video, I couldn't finish it past the window breaking. It wasn't until maybe a few months ago I finally finished the whole video. But I'm thankful to God for protecting him, because I know what the outcome could have been. But I believe in faith in God. It's what protected my only son. And I thank God for that.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Alton Solomon, the father, stepfather, but I can't call him my stepson because this is my son.
Yes, sir.
I've been through what he's been through. To see that video made me go back to the moment when I was 22.
Interesting.
It hurted. It made me upset. But I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he sat right. And he did right. To see that.
But before he go further, right, I have to ask this question, okay? Because once again, I was letting y'all know that in these situations that you have to use emotional intelligence to de-escalate the situation so you could go home, all right? So if his stepfather has also been a victim of this particular incident and stuff, right? in his past, why he didn't teach his stepson proper techniques on how to de-escalate a situation, where he'll literally tell him like, hey, whenever you out in the car, this is what you need to do. Whenever you get pulled over by police, this is exactly what you need to do. You need to go ahead and comply with their lawful commands, do what you got to do, and get home. We'll deal with, wherever the courts and different things like that at a later time. Why he didn't teach him that? Based on what was happening in this situation, it appears that the only thing he possibly taught Mr. McNeil is to film the situation and to be not complying with a lawful command. Let's keep it real. But let's continue.
It's a hurting feeling to be a father that loved God first, and to see all my kids not being able to wake up in the morning and get a phone call saying your child is gone.
Wow.
That's a hurting feeling, but I thank God.
Yes.
Because God got him.
Yeah.
Y'all keep us in prayer.
William just gonna make a few remarks before we go to Q&A, and keep this family in prayer, because as his mother and father both said, they knew he could have been the next hashtag. It could have been a different result had he not kept his demeanor.
I agree.
First of all, I want to thank God for bringing everybody here together, and thank y'all for supporting me. That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I knew I didn't do nothing wrong. I was really just scared. And that's it.
Okay, and that's enough, William.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so once again, we are reviewing the incident that happened with William McNeil. This incident where excessive force was indeed used during this traffic stop, all right, which I'm not justifying it at all. It did happen, and I believe that, to be quite honest with you, I honestly believe that this officer should be charged with battery, to be honest with you. There's no justification behind that, period. It isn't. It isn't. But however, at the same time, we also have to hold everybody accountable in this situation, including William as well too. Once again, in these type of situations, it's better for you to just go ahead and abide by these officer lawful commands. That way you could go home without being busted and bruised and have a criminal record behind you for a simple traffic infraction. Now, I've seen countless of these different videos throughout the years where people literally make the situation more than what it need to be, all because they don't want to be compliant, all because they sit up here want to have a viral moment on their phones and record it. A lot of these people that did this and stuff, right? Some of these people, they didn't even walk to see the next day. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even live to see the next day because they escalated so much. So when are we going to start teaching our children, start teaching these young men, or even these older head men as well too, and women, to be quite honest with you, when are we going to start teaching them the importance of using emotional intelligence, using these proper skills to de-escalate a situation where you could just walk home unscathed? The worst case scenario is that you're going to get a ticket. You mean to tell me that it's better for you to sit up here act ignorant as hell, right? It's better for you to fight the police, right? And literally get you a criminal record versus taking a $35 ticket or so, right? And taking it to court and they're going to get dismissed. Make that make sense? I mean, there's no comparison to that. The cheapest thing to do is go ahead and comply by the officer's lawful command. Go and get your ticket citation and deal with it in court. It's that simple. It's not hard. The most inconvenience that you're going to get out of that is time. That's it. versus trying to stand there to prove a point. You know what I mean? But I also want to share what the sheriff was saying in this situation as well too. Make sure y'all get the one thumbs up as well too. Samoa, I see you in the chat. Salute. James, I see you in the chat as well too. Salute, and everybody who are watching the stream right now. Salute to y'all as well too. Samoa, he did say this. He said that he didn't escalate. He asked a valid question. Now, part of that, I agree with you. Forrest, he asked a valid question. Yes, he did ask a valid question, but I don't agree with you because he did escalate that. Mr. McNeil absolutely escalated that situation. He escalated that situation, and the officer on scene had escalated that situation as well too. Both of them did. So both of them need to be held accountable. But even more so, the officer on the scene, the main charge officer on the scene, need to be held to a higher accountability because he literally assaulted that dude. That was assault and battery. So absolutely he need to be charged for that. Absolutely he need to be tried for that, for real. Universal, salute, what's up with it, man? He also said he's not going to get a criminal record. He's actually probably going to win a civil suit, which, to be honest with you, I agree. I don't know. I agree, probably. We'll see. If you're talking about the officer there, I don't know about that one. James, he said that some of the police could be some jackass. I agree with you. Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Absolutely. But let's go ahead and listen to what the sheriff had to say about this situation, all right? Check this out.
Information regarding the circumstances of William Anthony McNeil Jr.'s arrest on February 19th of 2025. Yesterday, while I was in church, JSO became aware that cell phone camera footage purportedly of this arrest was circulating on social media. At my direction, the agency immediately began both a criminal and administrative review of the officer's actions. These administrative reviews are ongoing, but the state attorney's office has determined that none of the involved officers violated criminal law. Even though the administrative review has yet to be completed, we are releasing the body-worn camera footage today because Officer Bowers has consented. So,
real quick, y'all. I believe what he just said was some absolute bullshit.
That's bullshit.
And we're going to prove that in a little bit shortly too. The reason why I say that, but ultimately the reason why I say that that's a bunch of bullshit is because that dude did violate a criminal law. That officer did do that. That officer literally did assaulted that young man. That young man did not resist arrest or anything like that. The worst case scenario, what he did was that he literally escalated that situation. That's the worst case scenario that he did. But other than that, that officer assaulted him. That officer used excessive force for no apparent reason. All that officer had to do is simply bust that window and pull him out the car. That's it. He didn't have to punch him not once, not twice. And in the other videos that I'm going to go ready to show you, he actually punched this dude almost 10 times, all right? He punched him the first 2 times while he was in the car, and then when they dragged him on the ground, the same officer ended up punching him several more times while he was on the ground. So it was almost like 10 times this dude got punched. So yes, that officer absolutely need to be charged for battery, for real. Absolutely he do. But let's continue. I'm questioning the investigation part as well too. And I'm gonna let y'all know later on the show the reason why. All right.
To its release and waived his officer's bill of rights pertaining to the discrete piece of evidence. Because the administrative review is pending, the officer's bill of rights prevents me from releasing any additional information beyond these videos, as it is confidential under Florida Statute 112.532. As JSO's leader, I have vowed to be open and transparent with the public that we serve. Whether the information shared reflects well in this agency or not, I have always done my very best to tell the public exactly what's going on within the agency. When there are allegations of officer misconduct, our agency thoroughly investigates those allegations. When allegations of officer misconduct are sustained, we hold officers accountable, as I've done many times in the past. In this case, the cell phone camera footage that began viral circulation over the weekend does not comprehensively capture the circumstances surrounding this incident, and that is to be expected.
Now, this is another part where I don't agree with him on. Pretty much what he's doing, he literally sitting up here trying to gaslight and said that since this is a public video, since he filmed this video publicly and he released it out onto social media, he's trying to discredit this video, saying that it's invalid. That's a load of bullshit as well too.
That's bullshit.
This video and also the body count footage, which what we're going to review in a little bit, right? Both of these videos can be used in the court of law. Absolutely. After it be subpoenaed and all the stuff there. So yes, it can absolutely be used in the court of law.
Part of that stems from the distance and perspective of the recording cell phone camera. Another part of it stems from the fact that the cell phone camera did not capture the events that preceded Officer Bowers' decision to arrest McNeil. Moreover, cameras can only capture what can be seen and heard. So much context and depth are absent from recorded footage because the camera simply cannot capture what is known to the people depicted in it.
That's also some bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Because if we're gonna use that logic, right, then we can use the same logic with the body count footage with the officers. Because once when we review the body count footage, their view is obstructed as well too, based on where the camera is placed. So if we're gonna use that logic, you can use that logic on their footage as well too.
As a 33-year law enforcement officer, I understand the importance of thorough and complete investigations. One piece of evidence considered in a vacuum without any context can lead to skewed conclusions. When incomplete cell phone camera footage becomes the basis on which public opinion turns, the results can be equally faulty. A rush to judgment, whether it be in a criminal investigation or in a court of public opinion, can lead to flawed conclusions. Tonight, I'm sharing the footage from the body-worn cameras of the arresting officer, Officer D. Bowers, and two of the assisting officers, Officer D. Miller and Officer G. Curse, so that the public has more complete understanding of this incident. Before I deliver the currently available information and play the relevant body-worn camera, I want to be clear about something.
This dude stood up here literally said that only this body-worn footage is relevant, but the other footage is irrelevant.
Yes, there absolutely was force used by the arresting officers, and yes, that force is ugly. But as I've said many times before, the reality is that all force, all violence is ugly. And just because force is ugly does not mean it's unlawful or contrary to policy. But moreover, I want to provide the public with some background information pertinent to this incident. Since January 1st, 2025, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has been involved in 38,805 traffic stops. Even as I speak, that number is climbing. The overwhelming majority of these tens of thousands of traffic stops were made without incident. After this traffic stop on February 19, 2025, McNeil was arrested for resisting a police officer without violence, driving on a suspended driver's license, and possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana. On February 20th, 2025, McNeil pled guilty to and was adjudicated guilty of resisting a police officer without violence and driving on a suspended driver's license. Those pleas of guilty were accepted by a local judge who found them to have been factual basis and to have been voluntarily made by McNeil. After the resolution of this criminal case, McNeil took custody of his cell phone, the one he...
So check this out. The information that he's not telling y'all is that the other charges that he received due to, the marijuana and the seatbelt that they allegedly said that he didn't have on and stuff, right? They had dropped them charges, all right? So by him mentioning about the marijuana use, the reason why he's doing that is because he's trying to paint a negative picture against Mr. McNeil, okay? And he's going to do other things as well too to try to paint a negative picture to justify the means to the end, all right?
Presumably used to record the footage that was shared on social media on March 5th, 2025. At no time, February to now, did McNeil contact JSO to file a complaint, nor share with the agency the cell phone footage that is circulated on social media. As I said earlier, immediately upon becoming aware of this footage, JSO began a criminal and administrative investigations into the incident. Had McNeil filed a complaint, JSO would have started this investigation at that time. But we were not aware of this allegation or of improper use of force before this weekend. As this is agency's pattern of practice in any circumstances of use of force, the relevant body-worn camera footage was reviewed by multiple levels of supervision.
So let me understand this correctly, right? He's feeling some type of way because Mr. McNeil didn't file a file a formal report after the incident. Is I'm hearing this correctly? So because he didn't file a complaint during that time frame, that means that everything that happened is just a slate clean. It don't matter or anything like that. No, bro.
That's bullshit.
No. See, respectfully, it doesn't matter what time he decides to bring this information out. Hell, he could do it 10 years from now. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like, case in point. Give you an example. The bull crap that R. Kelly went through and got locked up, right? Let's consider that. The situation that happened with Diddy and Cassidy, right? That stuff happened like years ago, and they just now start building the case on this stuff. So you mean to tell me that they needed to tell people about that situation right then and there as it happened for it could be justifiable, so it could go through proper due process according to your likeness and understanding? No. No. It don't matter when this dude want to put it out. Like I say, he could put it out 20 years from now. He could put it out when he's an old man. You know what? I'm an old man now, and I'm going to go ahead and put this video out to bring awareness. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. The whole point is that it happened. And also, to be quite honest with you, if this dude, Mr. McNeil, never would have put that video out, guess what? Nobody would not know what had happened. Nobody would have known what had happened. And whatever, I'm gonna keep going, y'all.
However, as you'll see in short order, the body-worn camera footage does not capture Officer Bauer's response to resistance when McNeil was seated in the driver's seat. As I explained, although the state attorney's office has deemed it not criminal, the response to resistance is now subject of a pending administrative review to determine if Bauer's conduct violated JSO policy. The law requires that a person comply with the police officer's commands during a traffic stop. This is extremely important. There are not options. If you disagree, take care of it someplace else, but not on the side of the road.
So I don't want to spoil the good stuff, but there are a lot of plot twists in this as well too, which I'm going to cover as well too. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, man, if y'all enjoying the show, all right? But let's continue.
No one enjoys being the subject of a traffic stop, and there are times in which citizens dispute circumstances of their stops. But the law is clear. A person must comply with an officer's commands, even if that person disagrees with that officer's reasons for the stop. Within 21 seconds of his civil stop or civil traffic infractions, driving without illuminated headlights during the rain or failure to wear a seatbelt, McNeil refused to provide stopping officers with his driver's license and registration. 14 seconds later, he locked his car door and refused to exit the vehicle, despite being told many times that he was under arrest. Moreover, McNeil was warned 7 times that he needed to open the door and exit because he was under arrest or resisting an officer without violence, or police would be forced to break his car window. Soon after McNeil was outside his car, officers found a large, unsheathed serrated knife on the driver's side floorboard. Now I'll play.
We also going to talk about the knife as well too shortly.
Relevant portions of the body-worn camera of the 3 officers: Officer Bowers, the stopping and arresting officer; Officer Miller, the second responding officer who spoke to McNeil from the passenger side of the vehicle; and Officer Kearse, one of the assisting officers.
All right, so at this point, they're going to play the body cam footage, right? So, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to skip ahead of this, but I'm doing this for a reason. The reason why is because it's not showing like a really clear video with this, all right? But I got something special for y'all, okay? So I'm gonna skip all this and get back to him talking. Right when I get to him talking again, I'm going to do this for y'all. I'm going to actually show y'all the actual body cam footage, okay? I think it's about right there. All right, so I'm gonna show y'all the actual body cam footage, all right, where y'all can actually see for yourself. Y'all gonna understand the reason why I said what I said earlier about all this, okay? So here's the actual video of the actual body cam footage that he was gonna show to y'all.
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I know occupants.
Video of Commonwealth 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights, and it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
27, 35. I'm proper dog driver. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, like I stated earlier in the stream, right? I was letting y'all know that it's important for us to use emotional intelligence, especially in these particular situations. Now, I want to ask y'all this. Based on what y'all done seen so far, do y'all agree with Mr. McNeil's decision to not abide by the officer command by asking for his ID and, proof of insurance? Do y'all agree with that, or do you disagree with that? Then right afterwards, right, as the officer was asking about that, right, he decided to close his door and lock it. So once again, in these situations, this is where you're supposed to use emotional intelligence to de-escalate the situation. Now, the first person who should have de-escalated the situation wasn't the officer. It was actually, the ball was actually on Mr. McNeil court to de-escalate from the very beginning, but he didn't do that. His question was absolutely valid to ask why he should be pulled over. Absolutely. The officer told him the reason why. He didn't agree with it. Oh, well, but that's why he's pulling you over. So at that point, that's when he needs to start abiding by the officer command. Period. It's just that simple. But he didn't do that. Instead, he looked at the officer crazy, started becoming combative, right? And right afterwards, he literally shut the door and locked it. That's when the situation became real. So instead of him doing that, all he had to do was either say, I don't have no driver's license, my license suspended. Well, the hell story he wanted to make up, that's all he had to do is say, and at the worst case scenario, that's going to write him a ticket. And he just go to court. That's simple. But he decided to do the latter. He decided that he's not going to listen to this officer. And on top of that, to be honest with you, this is more of a obstruction than anything. So he decided to close his door up and lock it, bro.
Step out of the vehicle. 25 seconds. For 94, the driver just slammed the door and locked it. Yep.
Units 33.57 units 1050 at West Palm and Commonwealth.
25 seconds. If anybody responded, come in from Commonwealth, block the vehicle, please.
Well, I'm coming west on Commonwealth. I'll be there in a second.
Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on, too.
Now, I want y'all to also understand this. As time is passing, right, he is making the situation worse for him. Even if his window didn't work or whatever the case may be, all he had to do is comply with the officer's lawful command. That's it. It wasn't that hard to do that. At this point, he's sitting up here getting his phone out and started to re-record the whole incident. So you mean to tell me that he had enough common sense to start recording on his phone, but he didn't have common sense to start putting out his credentials so he could get out of the situation unscathed? That's also some bullshit.
That's bullshit.
This is also why I was questioning his stepfather as well, too. His stepfather clearly said that, oh my God, I was in this situation too when I was 22 years old. He was sitting up there getting all emotional stuff. His stepfather should have had educate him on how to handle these situations instead of saying, hey, whenever you get pulled over by the police, pull your camera out. That's the best course of action. Slam the door and pull your camera out. Yeah, let's do that. But his stepfather should have told him, like, hey, look, I've been in these situations before. Whenever you're out there driving in the streets, make sure you abide by the officer command so you could get out unscathed, man. Because you see what been happening to us. If we want to make this about race, you see what been happening to us. You know what I'm saying? So we want you to get home safely. That's called using emotional intelligence. But let's continue, y'all.
I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting. You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be.
Oh yeah, Somali, I agree with you on that. Facts. That is big facts. Big facts. Big facts. Both of them should have de-escalated this situation, but they didn't. It started with Mr. McNeil, and it ended with this officer. So both of them should have de-escalated this, but they didn't. They choose not to. Now, there, like I say, there's a lot of spoiler alerts with this as well too. But I'm gonna reveal that to y'all later.
Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. Okay. Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit or we are going to break the window.
Well, we're conducting a traffic stop right now. You need to comply.
No, he's under arrest.
Hey, I'll lock the car. I'm going to push it up.
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door.
Those of y'all who are curious what they are doing, what he's doing is that he's blocking the vehicle in, so he want to attempt to flee the police. All right.
Door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
Can you unlock the door and step out? I will. Can you step out? You're being done. There's a traffic stop being conducted. You're required to comply.
Now, this officer right here, I do have to give kudos to him, right? Because this particular officer was actually being calm, had a calm, cool demeanor. This particular officer came into the situation literally to de-escalate it, versus the main charger officer that's handling this stop. He really wanted this situation to be de-escalated, him get out, and they go ahead and do the rest and be done with it. You know what I mean? But it didn't happen that way.
Vehicle's blocked in.
Yes.
He's locked it up. He's putting the window down.
Correct.
I tried to talk to
Huh? Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess,
when he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right? And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, there's multiple people headlights off.
Okay, that's still
and then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
See, in this situation, I could understand Mr. McNeil's plight behind this, because as you can see on this car, it was raining earlier during that day. It is kind of overcast a little bit to indicate that it was inclement weather, but it stopped. But however, for him to literally sit up here and act as though as he in court and try to plead his case, I'm just gonna say that's wrong on his part. That's wrong on this part, because these officers is not the judge, okay? They're just law enforcement officer. All they're doing is enforcing the law. And this go back to what I was saying earlier by using emotional intelligence. These officers are only going to do their job. That's it. But You take that and you take it to court. You show your video footage and stuff, right? You can show video footage of the sky and different things like that. Say, hey, you know what I'm saying? The sky was it wasn't raining no more, so I don't see a reason why I need to have my lights on anymore. That doesn't make any sense. And I guarantee that case would have got dismissed right then and there. But he chose the latter.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Hey.
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Here.
1033 at 16.1 hours.
I'm here. What is your reason, sir? What is your reason?
Step out now. All right.
No.
All right, so the reason why I'm showing y'all this main footage of this body cam video is because I want to show y'all the multiple strikes that happened to him. We already seen the first two, right? We've seen the first two happen at this moment right here after he busted the window, right? We've seen the moment right here, right?
1033 at 16.1 hours.
I'm here. What is your reason, sir?
The second moment is going to happen after when they take the seatbelt off of him and pull him out the car.
What is your reason?
Step out now. All right.
No.
And right here, the same officer end up uppercutting him and knocking him on the ground. That's the second strike that the officer did.
Get on the ground.
All right, so I want y'all to pay attention to this. This is where the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth strikes is going to happen. Now, on this particular scene, the arm that you see right here, that is the same officer that hit him twice, all right? You're going to see his arm, and you're going to see his arm hitting him, literally. So check this out.
Put your hands behind back. Resist.
Now, he hit him at least about 5 or 6 times before pulling back. And while he was hitting him, he literally bruised his wrist as well, too.
Hands behind your back. What's wrong with you?
What you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. I was on.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking. What's going on, man? You're under arrest. That's what's going on.
No.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Lawful reason, bro.
And also on this part right here, this is the reason why the civilians have an issue with law enforcement officers. All the other officers that's around them, right, they clearly seen that this main officer was sitting up here just wailing on him, punching him and punching him for no apparent reason. They already got him detained. They already had him detained, and he cannot do absolutely nothing. The civilians feel some type of way about that because you have these other officers around them and not holding this dude accountable. They're not supposed to say, bro, chill, you don't have to hit him like that. Move back, stop. You don't have to dehumanize this dude like this. We got it. But since they have this code that they follow, right, this brotherhood, guess what? It's going to be all for one and one for all type things, like the Three Musketeers with them. They're not going to hold each other accountable. That's why people are talking about it, especially I believe there was a black officer as well too. This black officer was sitting up here literally watching this white dude hit this black dude multiple times for no apparent reason. And he didn't stop to question that. He didn't want to pull this dude back. He didn't get mad about that. But his response was to cuss him out. Shit.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of you, bro.
And I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all, bro.
That's not how it works.
When they asked me to step out of the vehicle, you should have done that shit. So your partner didn't even act.
Marijuana in his right pocket.
Yes, it is. So why close the door if you see him pull up? Because, man, what you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do nothing.
No resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong. Can you back me up to?
See, he purposely, check this out. The main officer is purposely showing his hand on this body worn footage. The reason why he's doing that is because he's trying to justify his behavior. He's trying to justify that he had every reason to strike this dude over 7 times. And so now he's saying, I'm be real about it. This dude acting like a straight biatch now, where he's sitting up here trying to play the victim now. Look, y'all, my wrist, my hand is all bloody and it's swelling up. Look, he did this to me. He did it. It was justifiable.
That's bullshit.
They look, we got all these other officers, including the black officers that was on the scene as well too. But they didn't hold this dude accountable. They didn't hold their Federal Brotherhood accountable or anything like that. They had literally watched this dude beat him. And the sheriff don't think this is battery. He said that this excessive force was necessary.
25. So you start rescue. 1067.
Approximately 30-year-old
Bravo Mike. Last race. I did.
Thank you. I know. You should put some those on though. No.
Yeah, he constantly showing his hand like he's the victim, like this dude the victim, like this dude attacked him and he just was fighting for his life. This dude here, oh my God, ooh,
Oh yeah.
This is worse. Look, this will make it worse. Here's the other one of the other black officers that's on duty. This dude sitting up here smiling and laughing like this was something comical. Like, what the hell? Damn.
God damn. That's bullshit.
What? He just smiling like, oh, bro, yeah.
You good? Yeah, you or him? Oh, okay.
All right, so let's get back to what the sheriff had to say about this, all right?
Video clip, devoid of context, can be very misleading. Given that McNeil never brought this incident to JSO's attention, but rather pushed the
Let me
cell phone.
rewind that back just a little bit. Rewind it back just a little bit.
So I've said many times before, social media is not reality.
So on here, they was showing the actual knife that he had in the car, all right?
One video clip, devoid of context, can be very misleading. Given that McNeil never brought this incident to JSO's attention, but rather pushed the cell phone camera footage that he had in his possession since March 5th out on social media, one can only assume, and I'm saying I assume, that he intended to inflame the public. The administrative process is still ongoing, and as such, I will neither defend nor commend Officer Bauer's response to resistance until all the facts are known and the investigation is completed. However, as the leader of this agency, I will not remain silent while important facts and information are buried to advance an anti-police agenda. The truth is, William McNeil Jr. was non-compliant with JSO officers within 21 seconds after he was stopped for multiple civil infractions. His non-compliance quickly rose to the level of criminal resistance to a police officer. McNeil was arrested and pled guilty to resisting a police officer without violence. Force absolutely looks ugly, and because all force is ugly, whether or not the officer involved acted within outside JSO policy, that's still what we're investigating. The State Attorney's Office, once again, has reviewed the case materials and determined that Officer Bauer's actions are not criminal. Now, JSO will conduct a thorough investigation to determine whether Officer Bauer's acted appropriately.
Now, once again, there's going to be a shocker to the reason why they determined that his action is not criminal, and we're going to find out in a little bit, all right?
With respect to JSO policy. When an officer does wrong, and I think every one of you know this and everyone that's listening, I will stand up here and tell you straight. And likewise, when officers justifiably use force, I'll stand up here also and I'll tell you straight. I ask the public for its patience as the administrative process is completely, competently completed. Once we've determined whether Officer Bowers acted within policy or not, I will immediately share that determination with the public. Out of an abundance of caution, pending the outcome of this administrative review, Officer Bowers has been stripped of his law enforcement authority. Effective immediately, all video footage presented in this briefing is available on all JSO social media platforms, YouTube, and JSO's transparency page.
So check this out. He said earlier that the video that Mr. McNeil showed, it wasn't, it wasn't plausible or anything like that, right? And he was up here speaking about, social media, how social media try to distort things to make it not be what really is, right? But however, this dumbass sit up here and say, well, our video is on social media. So which one is it? You don't agree with social media? You agree with it or you don't agree with it? Or it's only cool when it favors your situation? I'm just saying.
So I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have right now. Yeah, Eric? Yes, sir.
I know that he was charged with resisting arrest without violence.
Yep.
But there was, when I go back and look at the other video from the cell phone video,
yeah,
I can understand the officer punching the window out. But what I don't understand is, and I know you said that this was not ruled criminal, sucker punching the guy in the jaw.
First of all, let me stop you. Not a sucker punch. I'm not excusing that administratively.
He said that it wasn't a sucker punch at all. As we clearly seen that it was a sucker punch. Not once, not twice, but 5 or 6 times. Damn.
I'll say that to you one more time. I'm not excusing that administratively. There are things that we definitely need to look at. But the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know.
Oh, it absolutely did. He right about that way. It actually did if you view it and view frame by frame.
Again, I take it. It looks like it's a sucker punch because he's looking straight and you see this.
Right.
Okay, and then you see them pull him out and you see a couple of punches to the face. Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but they charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence. I think the public saw a lot of violence against somebody that was not violent.
Well, first of all, Eric, don't try to talk the public into what they saw. They just saw the same videos you saw.
How he gonna sit up here and tell this dude to not talk the public into what you think it is? All he doing is giving an opinion or giving a statement based on what he saw. This dude here, man, gaslighted like ain't nothing, bro.
So what we're doing, what I'm saying is that it is what it is. This is the information that I want to share with the public in context without a short clip. It's very important to do that because it provides a lot of information to the public.
And you brought up
it's important, let me finish. It's important for the people to know that you're not allowed to resist a police officer when he's doing his lawful duties. It's been dealt with in several different times. You don't resist when you're doing your lawful duties. You don't deserve to get violated, but you deserve to get what's necessary to get you under control and get you and take you into custody.
Sheriff,
so I'll leave there. Go ahead.
One of the discrepancies people were seeing between the police report and what we saw in the video, and even what we saw in that video was the allegation that McNeil had reached down for the knife. That was in the police report. But
where'd you see? What police report did you see that in?
In the arrest report for McNeil, that was stated that the officer saw him, reach for the knife that was on the floorboard. The video that was posted to social media, and even in there, I couldn't see any clear indication of that. I mean, do you see that when you're watching this?
No, actually, I don't see where his hands are. I can't assume, Jake. No one can assume. We operate off facts and facts alone.
All right, so let me clarify this. All right, so the reporter is bringing up the actual police report, and here's factual information. All right, so according to the police report, the officers had left out a lot of information. They had left out the part where the officer had struck him twice, well, actually more than that on the police report. And then also they had added into the police report saying that this dude had a knife and he was reaching for the knife during the initial stop. That's what they're questioning him about right now. So they're saying like, okay, why did they add it into the report that there was a knife and he reached for the knife and stuff, and they made it justifiable for them to use excessive force? But however, they never put excessive force into the police report. Make that make sense?
I can't make assumption. All I can go by when I read those things is what's stated in the report. I'm not saying whether it's true or whether it's not. I'm saying no one sees his hands at that point. He says, put your hands up, then his hands come up. But it was after the strike to the face. Like I said, again, I'm not trying this case in front of the public. I'm trying to give the public the information in context of what happened. No one saw his hands at that point. Don't know what happened from there, but that's part of the investigative process. Yes, ma'am.
So did officers take custody of the cell phone that he was using to record the incident?
Yes. Put it in the property room.
Okay, that also was not in the report.
But
so this other reporter, she's asked like, okay, so did y'all confiscating his material, including the phone, off of his persons? He said yes, it was put into our room. And so she said, well, okay, then if that be the case, then why was that left out of the police report as well too?
Got it back with all the information still on it.
So can I get back to the sucker punch?
The young lady back there had a question. We can get back to you in a second, Eric.
So did this incident rise?
So he said, forget Eric. You ain't getting no more questions out of me, Eric. He said, I'm done with Eric.
Rise to the level that a response to resistance report was generated.
Yes.
Has that been reviewed? And it's still under review. What was the outcome?
So here's the process. When force is used, a response to resistance report is written. It goes to the supervisors. The supervisors then, at that point, review body cam footage. So they would have reviewed this. But you can't see, admittedly, you can't see the strike at all. So it's very difficult. Had they seen that, it probably would have risen to another level to where somebody else would have gone further.
Wait a minute, did he just say they couldn't see the strike initially? What the hell?
That's bullshit.
Which is why we didn't really know at that time that all this had taken place. I'm a big believer in being honest and upfront. And if something like that happens, I'm going to tell you about it, like everything else that we've done. But it's very important to make sure we get this stuff out here in context so folks can see it. Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff, what are your thoughts on the video that was posted on social media? And here's one of the officers kind of turns off, the video turns off what's being recorded. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know that he turned it off. I know that at some point we stopped it, but we wanted to make sure you got a chance to see both views from the officers that were dealing with him publicly, talking to him face to face. At some point it does turn off, but usually when the interaction's over is when that happens. And that's why we're still looking. That's why we look at the entire process. That's why we check for JSO policy violations.
So this reporter, she's asking about the body cam footage, all right? The reason why she's asking this question because it appears that even the body cam footage could be tampered with or altered or edited, all right? So that's why they're asking it like that.
I can't give you right now whether they turned it off at the right time or at the wrong time. This is my opportunity to share the information with the public, right? And so now we still continue to refer to the social media video when I just showed you body cam videos with much more information. Let's acknowledge that because that's important. The importance is I'm showing you the video, the body cam video from the entire incident from start until they had to turn it off or we stopped it for time, for time.
So only the body cam for this video is important, not nothing else. Gotcha.
Do you know if McNeil ever filed a formal complaint?
He did not. He did not. He never filed a formal complaint, which we'd have been all over it, if had that been the case. But he did not. Go ahead, Eric.
That's some bullshit as well too. let's say hypothetically speaking, he would have filed a formal complaint after this incident. Do y'all honestly believe that they would have went and investigated this particular situation? They wouldn't. They would just have tossed it to the side. They'll sit here and say that, make up some bullshit policy, separate time about, well, it's going to take us about 60 to 90 days or longer for us to fully investigate this thing. And by then, they're going to be hoping and praying that he didn't forgot about it.
I just want to get back to the punch. This is just to be a yes or no question.
Wait, Eric, are you going to tell me how to answer a question?
I'm just keeping.
This dude here wild as hell. This is just a yes or no question. You gonna tell me how to answer the question?
All right, go ahead.
Was it appropriate for the officer to punch this guy in the jaw after he'd already broken the window? Was that yes or no? Was that appropriate?
It depends on the circumstances, but it's already.
Wait a minute. So it depends on the circumstances for him to get uppercut in the jaw? Damn.
Determined it's not criminal. Now we're going to look for JSO policy violations. How about that? Is that good?
Well, if a civilian did that to another civilian, they would be in handcuffs.
No, not necessarily. It depends on the circumstances, the situation. I know that's how you want it to be. I know there's a tendency to want to be some massive cover-up. That is not. That's why I'm here. I stand up, we talk to you about what happened, we give you what we can give you, then it's up to you guys to report it. But
I don't know about that one, buddy. About this whole cover-up thing. I don't know about that one because we fixing to get into some more interesting stuff in a little bit, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up as well, too, if you join this on content. It'll let YouTube algorithm know that you want more of this, all right?
Is going to buy that?
I don't know. My point is.
Do you think the black community is going to block?
Don't use the black thing. Don't use. I'm a black man. Wait, hold on, Eric. Hold on. Stop for a second, because you're trying to be incendiary, and this is not the time for it. This is me sharing information with our public, right? The whole statements about the black issue. I wouldn't work here if we're after black men or black people, period. I can tell you he wouldn't. I can tell you any other African American or black male or female that works here wouldn't work here if our black citizens are under siege. Not the case. Not at all. I've been alive probably a little bit longer than you have. Haven't had any of these issues. You know why? Because if I was ever stopped by the police, which I was when I was a young man, and they asked me to do something, I did it. It's simple. Simple compliance. It doesn't rise. It doesn't get out of control. That stuff doesn't happen then. Do as we ask you to do. If you don't like the word compliance, just do as we ask you to do then, so that we can get finished. Then you tell us about it if you feel like your rights were violated, and we can deal with it. That's the way it should work, every single time. Yes, ma'am.
The officer that has been stricken with authority, does he have a disciplinary history at all?
Not that I know of. We'd have to look, but I don't think so. We'll get you that answer.
So the final question that was asked, right? The reporter had asked the officer in questioning, right? Did he have a disciplinary history? His response is he don't know. Keep in mind, this dude is the sheriff. Dude, you're supposed to be knowing everything that's going on with this officer. Remember I told y'all that we got some spoilers as well too, right? We're gonna deal with the spoilers right now, all right? We're gonna deal with the actual spoilers, all right? So far I didn't want to share with y'all different situations. I didn't share with y'all the footage that he shared with the public, right? I didn't want to share with y'all his family talking about it, him talking about it as well too. I just share with y'all the sheriff response to this. I also share with y'all the body cam footage as well too, so we all can have a different perspective about this whole entire situation. All right. So you would think this. You would think that right after this press conference, right, that it'll be fine. It'll be okay, right? The sheriff was so convinced that this press conference was okay that he decided that this fool wanted to go on an actual podcast to plead his damn case. So he literally went on to this podcast to plead his case, and this is where all the juicy stuff is figured. Come on out, y'all. So check this out. Check this situation out right now. What's going to happen? All right. So look at here. Look at here. Look at here.
We're going to take a look at what happened when the officer eventually responded and broke the window.
When he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right? Okay. And then I said, so what I did wrong? Yeah. He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, okay. There's multiple people headlights off, first of all. And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Hey, real quick, that's for time purposes, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this because we already seen this like 5 or 6 times, all right? So I want to get to the actual podcast part where they're questioning, all right?
Police report, it isn't mentioned in the response to resistance report, the strike that the officer did.
What is your reason, sir?
Step out.
What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right. Don't.
Get on the ground.
All right, so that's the takedown. And, we know that he reported an injury to his mouth. He said that his tooth was chipped and that his tooth kind of went through his lip. And so he was treated for that. This second angle shows, I think, what people have found, objectionable is the strike that the officer does of his face. He punches through the glass. He breaks through the glass, and then he kind of punches through and hits Mr. McNeil in the face. I think the question that I have about that is the fact that strike isn't mentioned in the police report. It isn't mentioned in the response to resistance report, and it isn't mentioned in any of the supplementals or the supplemental that was released to that report. And so can you explain why that would be, that initial strike would not be reported?
So what I'll tell you this, and when we talk about this case like yesterday, there's a criminal aspect of the case, and that's where we start. Whether it's an officer-involved shooting, a use of force case, we start at the very top. We look for criminal violations of Florida law. And then we go to the administrative process. So he's going to have to answer those questions through the administrative process, which is difficult for me to talk about because I can't discuss, and I know people get frustrated with me about this, but I can't discuss an administrative investigation because of the rules that are in place in Florida statutes. Officers have a bill of rights. Yesterday, for example, to release that body cam, we had to get consent from him to be able to do that because he is the subject of an investigation at that point. So it's difficult to tell you. So those are answers that we're going to be looking for in the administrative process. And
you said yesterday the state attorney's office looked at and criminally cleared him of his actions.
Yeah, they saw no violations of Florida law.
Okay, and so now it's a policy violation. I guess my question to you is
now also keep that in mind that the state attorneys and different things like that, they said that they did find no criminal actions against the officer. Right, keep that in your mind because it's gonna get juicy.
Let's speak hypothetically. If you strike a suspect or you strike someone in an incident as an officer and you don't put it in a report, is that a violation of policy?
Could very well be, yeah.
And what would be the penalties for omitting a fact like that?
It could.
And also listen to the word that he's using. He didn't say it is. He said it could be, meaning that he know it is, but he doing his best to protect his officers.
Range from a written reprimand, it's maybe a suspension. It just depends. But it's hard for me to say what it is until the investigative process, excuse me, internal affairs gets finished with their investigation and they come to me with a conclusion. And I have the right to not like their conclusion. I don't have to necessarily accept it. But I think the best way for us to do this.
So this dude here literally said, like, well, forget internal affairs. If I don't like that conclusion, I could just not accept it at all, period. So it really don't matter to me because I already made up my mind, well, what it is. That's pretty much what he's saying.
To let the investigative part play out. And listen, I think I've shown many times over, and anyone that's completely honest will see that we don't have a problem arresting a police officer that violates the law. None whatsoever. And in this case, to satisfy some of the masses on social media, the easy thing would have been saying, yeah, we're just going to arrest him. That's not how we operate. I sat down with my team yesterday. I said, we're not here to clear him. We're not here to clear him. We're not here to convict him. We're here to get the facts, run through the facts, let our state attorney and her employees take a look at it and make it.
Now, keep in mind, state attorneys and her employees, because it's going to get good, y'all.
Determination from that point.
Do you believe that the reason that the initial strike that we see on the dash cam video was not in the reports was because it isn't visible on the police body cam version?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I think we're going to get that answer. In an administrative investigation, an officer cannot lie. So I think that part of that process will come out and we'll find out.
All right. We are talking to Sheriff TK Waters about a viral video of an aggressive arrest by JSO officers, and you can join our conversation at 904-549-2.
Uh-oh, people get ready to start calling in. It's about to get real up in here for real. Preferably with this first caller. This first caller is going to call up. I want y'all to listen to what they got to say.
937. I'm going to take a call from Representative Angie Nixon. Good morning, Representative Nixon. Thanks for joining the program.
Hey, Ann. Good morning. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
So I wanted to reach out because I've sent emails and sent texts requesting a meeting, but this may be the only time that I'm able to talk to you. Wanted to know, are you concerned with the perception that your department, your office, as well as the state attorney's office is biased, seeing as your wife serves as one of the chief investigators in the state attorney's office? And then
did she not say, did Rep. Angie Nixon not say that it is actually his wife that's part of the state was part of the attorney's office stuff, right? And they the one who made the conclusion that this officer was not charged criminally?
God damn. And I am interested in you letting us know whether or not the officer's body cam footage was turned off during the time of the arrest. And then finally, at what point do officers with multiple complaints, like this officer has had in the past, like at what point are they reprimanded or released from the force or whatever? Because there's a lot of folks in the community are really upset because this officer has had multiple complaints against him for excessive force, and we see it finally because this young man actually captured the footage. But there may not be any footage, and he may have done something similar, and so that is our concern, and I would love for you to address that issue.
All right, so let me clarify this too. Two main points. All right. So first of all, the sheriff's wife actually works for the state attorney. All right, she's actually in charge over that. All right. So that's the first part of that. That's a plot twist. The second plot twist is that the actual charging officer that's on duty, he had many complaints prior to this using excessive force. Now, keep in mind, the sheriff has said that, hey, if you were to go to our office and file a formal complaint, then we're investigating it. They investigated it, and guess what? They sit up here and proved that it was nothing wrong with the officer, even though many people already complained about him. All of a sudden, once again, this same officer got caught up in a situation. So I want to hear what he got to say about this.
So the first question is concerning my wife. Don't really know what she has to do with this, but my wife is a director of investigation.
No. The reason why your wife has something to do with this is because what she's implying is that it could be a possible conflict of interest in that situation.
At the state attorney's office. She has no involvement in decision making. She handles the investigators. So there's that answer. I hope that's clear enough, but she's a professional. She has nothing to do with decisions made by attorneys and the state attorney who's elected by the members of the 4th judicial circuit. And there's my answer is concerning her. It's kind of weird that she comes in into this conversation. Second question was, and can you help me remember?
Well, just about the community perception of bias, and she also talked about previous, complaints on this officer. I should say, as she said, that there had been some complaints about excessive force, and I am looking at his investigative history. I see that there were some sustained complaints for unbecoming conduct and failure to conform to work standards. I don't know if those initially began as a use of force or complaint from a citizen.
I mean, not typically. It could be. I haven't looked at the specific details of his concise, but I'll answer like this. Perception is, I realize, it's 100% reality to a lot of people. But there's a perception also out there that we're not biased against anyone, and we're not. I can tell you, I've worked here for many, many years, probably as long as Representative Nixon has been alive, and we've had a lot of trying times in this agency.
See, here's the thing about this. He's saying that they're not biased, right? But if that be the case, then why in the hell did he needed to go onto this podcast and also plead for this officer situation? Why do he need to do that? That's to me, that's not a good look, because he could have simply just left it at the press conference and been done with it. But he decided to do this. He felt that this was the best course of action to literally go onto this podcast and try to plead the case for his department.
And we've worked extremely hard to be as open and as honest with people. And had I known about this previously, if he had filed a complaint, I would have showed it to you earlier. I mean, why not? Why not get it out? Anyone.
That still goes with what we was talking about earlier about that, right? About filing these complaints. Sometimes them complaints, it'd be 60 to 90 days or whatever before you even get an answer, if they decide to answer. Case in point, this Duane officer past history. People was filing complaints then. What happened with that? I'm just saying.
One that is interested in knowing that we are operating and we are making every attempt to operate above board so everyone gets a chance to see, would know that that's how I operate. I answer to a higher authority, and it's not just the people of Jacksonville. I believe solely that my responsibility, and I'm allowed to be here and to run this operation the way that it's supposed to be run. And thirdly, what was the other question? There's a lot. There's three of them, I think.
The officer conduct. I think that's all that I have.
Yeah. So the officer conduct, there's always.
I mean, we should say, to her point, I mean, there was concerns about the video being shut off during the stop. And then there was the concern about this officer's prior involvement. We do know, other than these, complaints that I'm citing, that he was involved in the Florida, Georgia video that went viral of an officer punching someone in the stands.
Right. The officers, so the Florida, Georgia video, he was there at the one where there was a larger white male that was involved in something, and where we had the officer that got into a fight with him.
So notice that while he's describing this incident, right, he made it a point to mention that the young male was white. He did it purposely to try to manipulate people to say that, hey, it's not, this situation isn't a race thing either, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, we're equal opportunity. We'll punch a black man, we'll punch a white man, and all this other kind of crazy stuff.
Was there, he used a taser at that point. Some of the other things, there are things that we have called progressive discipline. And when you work these cases, I know it's what people like to see is no due process for police officers. But when you work these cases, you have to use a progressive discipline standard, and you have to move up from there. And when you get to a certain point, the undersheriff and I make a determination of whether someone should be terminated or not. And then after that termination's put in place, the officer has an option, and their option is a disciplinary hearing board or a civil service board. And that civil service board is made up of civilians, not police. And we have to convince that civil service board that our termination is not manifestly unjust. He has to testify in front of that board. And if they determine that what we've done and why we've terminated the person is not reasonable, they'll say it's manifestly unjust and give that person their job back.
I mean, aside from discipline, you also have a policy that allows you to flag officers that maybe have been involved in, something traumatic in their personal lives or something at work that has been a problem. Maybe they've been in a number of incidents that involved violence or force, and you're allowed to maybe reassign them. You're allowed to perhaps encourage them to go to counseling. Do you think that that is appropriate at this stage for this officer, given these couple of incidents?
Well, it would depend. When you have a long career, sometimes officers find themselves in difficult positions more than other officers will. Example, I've never had to use my firearm in the line of duty. I've had to draw it. I've never had to shoot anyone. I've never shot at anyone. There are some that have because of the situations they find themselves in. Look, policemen don't go out there and put themselves in a position where they have to use force. No one wants to do that. I can tell you from being involved in situations in my career that it's very uncomfortable, and quite frankly, it's scary. When it comes to his situation, we look at it, and that's why I'm building out an officer wellness section so that we can continue to identify.
So real quick. See, the part that he's being disingenuous about is dealing with the actual officers and their positioning. All right, but what I mean by that, y'all are aware of that. Some officers become, police officers. That they used to be civilians, and they just decided that they want to go to the police academy. Put their application in. They decide they want to be an officer one day. That's them set of officers. But also what he's not telling y'all is that there are other officers that came from a military background. They either serve with, any type of branch, whether it's the Army, Marines, or whatever case may be, right? And these same type of officers probably didn't make it in the military, right? Because they had some type of psychological behavior that they end up getting them AWOL or kicked out of the military, and so they end up deciding to go into law enforcement with the same screwed up mentality. There are other officers who serve in the military. They end up leaving the military, right? They serve their time in the military branch and stuff, right? And these same officers, same military personnel or veterans end up having like behavior issues like PTSD and different things like that, and they get bored and they decided like, hey, I want to go to the academy and become a law enforcement officer. They end up doing that, and it be these type of law enforcement officers be the one who be having the screwed up behavior, thinking that they still at wartime and thinking that everybody is still the enemy, and is scratching and have that itch that they want something to happen. They be having that itch there, man, I hope and pray that I run into somebody so I could draw my firearm and do something to them. Or I hope and pray that a situation happen where I could just rough this person up so I could feel some type of way about it. Y'all know about the military twitch, by the way? Y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna show y'all what the military twitch is. Well, when I show it to y'all probably have seen it. All right. So this is the military twitch, okay? A lot of military personnel or even veterans, right, who previously served, right, and they dealt with PTSD or any type of mental disorder stuff, right, they have a twitch. This twitch do this. They do this. It seems like they always popping their neck for some reason. And when they talking, yo. Then when you say something to them that they don't like, they end up doing this. That's called the military twitch. All right, that's what that's called. And so there are many officers that have that. They literally have that, right? But they don't reprimand them. They don't give them psychological treatment, nothing like that. They figure that is okay. They're fine, but they're not.
That may be having issues, whether they're home issues, whether they're financial issues. They have the ability to go meet with someone confidentially and work on the issues that they're dealing with, because I understand officer wellness is very important, and it's important for not just them, but how they function, how they do their jobs every single day.
And I think just to the question, was the body cam shut off by the...
At some point it was, but not during the parts that you wanted to see.
By the lead officer, the initial officer?
No, it was shut off later, but not... They're always shut off once the interaction's over.
Sure, but what is she referencing? Which officers?
I don't know what she's talking about.
Okay. All right. I've heard that on social media, but I personally don't know what we're referencing there. So
I'm not quite sure. I know that Eric pulled that out of his hat yesterday during the press conference.
Pulled that
but
out
I'm
of
not
his
sure
hat.
what they're referring
And
to.
let's talk a little bit about that. You got into kind of a little bit of a tense exchange with News4Jack's reporter Eric Avnier.
Mm-hmm.
He brought up the question. He asked you, whether your presentation, whether the Black community would quote buy it, and you kind of chastised him and said, let's not bring the Black community into this. I'm a Black man, but there are obviously a lot of conversations in this country about Black men, particularly when it comes to pre-contextual or kind of pretext stops, like you didn't have your headlights on, you didn't have a seatbelt on. There has been observations that this stop happened in what appeared to be clear conditions. It wasn't raining, it wasn't smoky.
His car was soaking wet.
Okay.
His car just got done raining. And it doesn't take away from the fact, and this is important, that it's a legal traffic stop. Even a pretextual stop is legal. Supreme Court has ruled it legal. But it's a legal traffic stop, and even if, say, it wasn't raining, he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, that's a primary stopping offense in the state of Florida.
Sure, but I guess what I'm getting at is those stops seem to be, at least perceived to be used primarily in conditions where maybe they don't warrant it. And I kind of think to myself, like, in what circumstance, in what universe would an officer break my window and punch me in the face?
There were probably that's not the first time that's happened. You don't on the side of the road, you don't hold a trial on the side of the road during a traffic stop. You have obligations as a driver. Driving is not your right. Driving is a privilege. That's afforded.
But that don't answer the question to what she's referencing to. Okay, which part of it I do agree with, because I said it earlier that you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to take that out in court.
To you by the state of Florida. If you get stopped for a lawful reason, you have to comply.
Sure.
Supreme Court says if they ask you to get out of the car, then get out of the car.
But you can understand why people would have that perception, because these pretextual stops have been involved with a lot of incidents where particularly younger Black men have been stopped.
No, that's what you've seen. There's 38,000 traffic stops just this year in Florida, in Jacksonville, not Florida, 38,000. And like I said yesterday, in counting.
I think the ones we've seen are the ones that have ended badly. And so you're right.
That's what you see.
Right.
You don't see the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of successful traffic stops, whether it be young Black men, Black women, or white men, Hispanic males. It doesn't matter. When it rises to a level that there could be danger. I mean, I don't think any person that outside of some of the police officers that have retired from here have done a traffic stop when it gets really tense. And it's not an easy thing. And I'm not excusing anything. I'm saying that I go into these things very objectively because that's my responsibility. Don't get hijacked either way. Eric's comment, Eric was there, in my humble opinion, to try to create a stir and make a story. And Eric, I've known Eric for a while. Eric's been a fairly decent guy, but I think he had a goal there. And speaking for the entire Black community, where I don't think the entire Black community thinks like he thinks. I know I don't. I know my dad doesn't. I know my sons don't. There's a lot of people, because my family doesn't think that way.
So, wait a minute. What the hell is he talking about? He only just made a generalized statement saying that, hey, there are a lot of people that's a part of the Black community that feel like the excessive use of force was unjustifiable, and to be honest with you, it was kind of targeted towards a certain demographic of people. What is he talking about? There's a lot of people in the Black community that have that same sentiment. You know what I mean? A lot of them. Now, for us, if he's talking about the experience behind it, no, it's not a lot of people in the Black community that actually had that experience. I'm one of them. I never had the experience to where an officer approached my car and bust out my window and punched me in the face for no damn reason. The reason why is because I simply held myself accountable. I knew I was doing wrong, right? I knew that I ended up violating the traffic stop. It was a traffic stop infraction, and I sent myself to due process, meaning that I allowed the officer to investigate. I allowed the officer to do his job. The officer cited me, and guess what? I went to court and got it dismissed. It was just that simple. The only thing that inconvenienced me was time. That was it. What's so hard about that?
So if you're going to make a suggestion like that, you have to first realize that I'm a black sheriff who's older than he is, who's lived in America since 1969 and been doing this job for over 30 years. And what you see and what's magnified in the social media universe is what people want you to see. And there's a lot more to every story. There's a lot more to everything that goes on when we do these things. And if you just let it lie, and what's important for me is,
I mean, you said that. Go ahead.
No,
finish your thought.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you did say to him that you thought his comment was incendiary, and I think that probably Eric would say, I'm, reflecting a question that people are asking.
Well,
about
is he speaking for the entire black community, or 5 people that may ask him, or maybe 2 people that ask him that
Well,
question?
this has been a national story, right? I mean, CNN is requesting the video. It's not like it's just happening in a
And once again, he's not speaking on behalf of the whole entire black community. He's speaking based on his personal anecdotal experience, his personal assessment due to the situation that's happening. You can't sit up here and gaslight that dude to say that this is not the reality. You know what I'm saying? If that's the reality they live in, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't just gaslight them and say that it's not. No, just because you don't experience that doesn't mean that other people are experiencing that. Case in point with my situation, where I told you earlier, just because I've never experienced that before, that doesn't mean that other people have. And I'm not going to sit up here and be an asshole and say, yo, you got to believe me because it never happened to me. So obviously it haven't happened to nobody else. Maybe 1 or 2, whatever. No, that's bullshit. And he know it is.
That's bullshit.
All university.
So do you want me to, I can tell you what I think about, I don't watch the news, period. Because everything that I need to know about.
Hey, on the cool though, this dude kind of, I don't mean to take it like this, but on the cool though, this dude kind of sound like them modern women we be talking about on the show as well too, man. That dude giving out some beta energy, man, for real, because that's what them modern women do. They love gaslighting the hell out of situations. It's separate talking about not everyone.
I get firsthand from what's going on within the agency, within the city. I don't do that for a reason. I don't do that for a reason because I think in a lot of cases, people may say I sound crazy, but I started here in 1991, 2001, 2011, 2020, 21. And around 2018, this thing started where somehow the black community is under siege. I wasn't a policeman when I was 20 years old. I was driving cars, and you know what happened every time I got stopped in? Every time I got stopped, which was a lot because I had a sports car, and I'd like to drive fast. I complied with what I was asked to do. I've never had a problem, never been to jail. As simple as do not empower people to ignore law enforcement, and we don't have these things that rise to this level. That's why you don't see this happen very often in Jacksonville. If I take a group of pastors and I show you one that did something wrong in Seattle, Washington on social media, and I show you one that did something wrong in New York City, and I show you something, that would paint a picture in people's mind to make you believe that pastors are just bad, especially if.
No, what they call is a pattern, bro. What the hell are you talking about?
The news media begins to harp on it. Like the Catholic Church many years ago. I know not every Catholic priest is bad.
Sure, but there was an endemic problem there.
There was a problem, but that doesn't mean that every single one of them were bad. My point is that when you pick and choose a large nation like us, there's probably about 1 million full-time police officers in the United States of America. This doesn't happen very often. These things don't happen very often. But with the advent of social media and with the ability to send information out at the speed of light, and everyone sees it, maybe not the speed of light, but you know what I mean. Everyone sees it without context. It gets so huge, you can never put the toothpaste back in the tube.
And when you say it's never happened here before, I mean, obviously a couple names have surfaced when people are talking about this, chiefly Lakean Woods, who had that kind of notorious mugshot where he was so injured, and Jamie Johnson, who was a young man who was...
Okay, can we stop there? Can I address those?
Sure.
What we tend to ignore is Jamie Johnson tried to kill a policeman, whether it's Jesus Garrigo or not. He had a pistol on him. He wasn't unarmed. That's not true. I'm speaking about what's true. And again, when I tell you this, I don't speak about things that I'm not sure about.
When you say it's not true, you mean the narrative that perhaps.
Yeah. No, nobody wants to stop Jamie Johnson for the sake of just stopping him.
But I mean, he was sort of stopped just for the sake of just
No, he
stopping.
wasn't.
It was a seatbelt violation.
So that's is it legal or illegal to drive without a seatbelt?
Well,
hey, buddy says so. I don't give a damn. Forget what you got to say, shoot. He said, forget what you got to say and absolutely forget the law. I said what I said.
It certainly seems low on the priority list.
There is traffic enforcement is there as part of our responsibility, right? And when you stop a guy with a Glock handgun with a large magazine in it and 200 grams of weed in the trunk, and when you go to take him back to the car peacefully, and he snatches away from you and drags you along in the car and attempts to go for that gun, you don't allow him, and then it ends up in a deadly use of deadly force situation, and then it goes out, and then you hear all these stories that are not based in any fact. Lakeem Woods, the reason both of his eyes were swollen, he got tased and fell directly on his face. And I said when I came out and discussed Lakeem Woods that strikes were used. Absolutely they were. But there were two other people in that car. One of them had a gun on him that went home safely, went to jail safely. No issues. A lot of times these situations, they rise to the level where they are because we are responding to the actions of the individuals that are in that position.
I do want to take some calls because we've got folks waiting. Mark on the south side, go ahead, please.
Hey, good morning. I just want to say I agree wholeheartedly with Sheriff Waters, especially about the comment he made about how he had been pulled over as a younger man and complied with what the officers asked of him. I just can't help but think how many of these instances, which they become salacious issues, if you will, how many of them could be avoided simply if they would have just complied with the officer's request? Roll your window down. Well, it doesn't roll down. I have to open up the door. Fair enough. Get out of the car. But the guy chose the opposite, answer, and the officer has no idea what the guy has inside the car. And I hate seeing the video that the guy put out there. That does make it look bad. But then once I watched the sheriff's video, it put it all into different context. And had the guy just complied, worst thing that would have happened, he probably would have gotten a ticket for a suspended license.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your thoughts. And I think you did present that because it offered, context. We hadn't seen the full context, and I know that you think that that's an important element to, kind of explaining what happened here.
And
to be honest with you, even just by the initial video that he put out on social media, right? Let me put it to you this way: where when I started to stream and stuff, right, and I was showing you the initial video that he put out on social media, right? I literally said, whoa, bro, all you have to do is comply with the officer. That's common sense. So even then, you necessarily didn't have to put out the body cam footage video for that. You know what I mean? You didn't have to do that because it was already understood that he wasn't abide by the officer's lawful command. And I believe everyone could agree to that he wasn't abide by the officer's lawful command. Period. We could agree to that. But what the public is fighting over is the use of excessive force. That's what they're fighting over. That's what everybody's talking about this officer literally punching this dude like 7 times. That is not justifiable at all, period. And it's captured not only on the Mr. McNeil video, but it's literally captured on the body cam footage as well too. So you can't get over that. You can't justify that. You cannot justify that at all, period. You just can't.
Don't you think context is important?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it helps explain more fully, what happened in the incident and why. I do have another question though, and my colleague Jake Stofan got at this a little bit yesterday from Action News, asked a question because we talked about, the fact that the reports didn't mention the initial strike through the window that the officer made on Mr. McNeil's face. But the reports all do say that he was that the motorist was reaching for this knife, and we can show a picture of the knife. It is a pretty large knife, and it was on the driver's side floorboard. It is not.
Yeah, this dude have a down Rambo night. But you know what I'm saying, to be real about it, the knife is not part of the investigation. They're just making it be like that so they could give a probable cause. Just like when they was talking about the one the low ounce of marijuana that he had on his persons. They was trying to make that be probable cause as well too. Well, the reason why he wasn't opening up his door, he wasn't complying because he had marijuana and had a knife. No, that wasn't the reason why. That wasn't the reason why at all.
Anything to sneeze at. It's a serrated blade, and it looks a little intimidating. But it doesn't appear from any viewing that I've seen that this gentleman was doing anything but just sort of sitting in his seat. He showed his hands when he was asked to show his hands. Then he kind of folded his hands under his armpits and sat back right before the window was broken and the face strike. Mm-hmm. And so when the reports say that he reached for the knife, that seems to be at best an exaggeration, if not sort of just a fiction.
Or
you're lying.
Maybe you just couldn't see it. I couldn't see it either.
Driver's side floorboard. It is not, anything to sneeze at. It's a serrated blade, and it looks a little intimidating. But it doesn't appear from any viewing that I've seen that this gentleman was doing anything but just sort of sitting in his seat. He showed his hands when he was asked to show his hands. Then he kind of folded his hands under his armpits and sat back right before the window was broken and the face strike. Mm-hmm. And so when the reports say that he reached for the knife, that seems to be at best an exaggeration, if not sort of just a fiction.
Or maybe you just couldn't see it. I couldn't see it either. He showed his hands after the initial strike. That's when his hands came up.
Okay.
I'll give you that 100%. And I asked Jake there, I said, Jake, did anyone see his hands before the strike? Did anyone see what happened when he was trying to roll outside the vehicle? Did anyone see any of that? And we didn't see that. That's why there's an...
Oh, hell no. They lying. Bro, they lying on this. When we reviewed the body count footage, right? When we reviewed the body count footage, did it not the officer kept telling this dude to, hey, let me see your hands, let me see your hands. And he kept complying with that. He kept complying with that over and over again. So, yeah, they seen his hands, they seen his persons and everything like that. If it was that serious, that dude would have reached for the knife when he opened up the car door, if it was that serious, but he didn't. So, yeah, they lying on that one for real.
Investigative process that takes place. That's why there's an administrative investigation process that takes place. I don't have the luxury to assume anything. And I don't think anyone, whether it be you or Angie Nixon, I don't think anyone wants an assumption made about what they've done, whether it's criminal or not. I think it's important for us to not assume, not get overly emotionally hijacked, but allow the facts to speak for themselves. And I told Jake, I didn't see that either, but I didn't see what they saw because I wasn't there. And sometimes the body cams where they sit, which is the best place, we've tried a bunch of different places, but sometimes it doesn't capture everything.
So what's so hard about him saying that he just simply don't know versus trying to beat around the bush and doing all this gaslighting? Just say, hey, I wasn't there, I have no idea, but based on the footage, I still don't know because even the footage is kind of obscure. Why he just can't simply just say that? It just keep it unbiased. But you can obviously tell that this dude is very biased towards his officers. He's going to do his very best to protect this officer with that bullshit.
Everything. Mm-hmm. And the fact is, there's a large knife. It looks like a Rambo knife that's down right at his feet. I don't know that he reached for it. I couldn't see that. I'm not saying that he did. I'm not saying that he didn't. That's what the officers are reporting. That's why there's an administrative process.
Got a call from Ethan in Orange Park. Good morning, Ethan. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I mean, you said something that was really troubling to me, which was you don't watch the news. And I think a large part of this is it's so popular and there's so much skepticism about it because it's not an isolated event. You know, you look around and there's, not just black men or women, but just people that are being abused by police officers that they may or may not be doing the right thing. In certain cases, they're certainly not. And then there's an administrative process and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. And it's happened time and time again where people have died. people have died just because police officers go on this power trip, and there's nothing holding them accountable.
Ethan, thanks for your comments.
Well, Ethan, thanks for the question or the comment. No, it's really counterproductive to listen to, especially the way things have gone these days. And it is. And I'll talk to people quite often. They tell me what the news says. And what is easy to know what's happening around the country because I find out about it. I find out about it through actual factual sources, not a video that's shown on the news media without any context and without anything there to show me from start to finish. My friends will ask me questions like this. Real quick, let me answer. Well, what do you think? It's hard for me to comment because I don't know the entire story.
What are your sources? And are you concerned at all that perhaps your universe of sources is limited in terms of the perspective that you get, or whether, I mean, you're the sheriff, you might be having, there could be some yes men, or, who knows, right? Are you getting the full story?
I can tell you this for sure. I don't have yes men. I have a bunch of professionals that are willing to say, Sheriff, I don't think that's right. Sheriff, I think we should go in this direction. And I don't make decisions in a vacuum. But my sources, stuff pops up on Instagram, stuff pops up. That's where I saw this. So then you get it and you look at it. But I get my information when it comes to Jacksonville and the agency from the people that I work with. I know about officer-involved shootings because it comes to our dispatch.
Wait a minute. He said that his sources, his credible sources, is from other colleagues? What? His sources, so he believe wherever the hell his fellow colleagues tell him, and that's it.
That's bullshit.
Man, I done heard it all, man. I done heard it all. And he honestly believed that his sources is unbiased. That's the crazy part about it. That's what's crazy about this. I don't trust social media at all, period. I don't trust none of that. No, social media be lying. YouTube, yeah, liars, the devil. Instagram, all that, yeah, liars, devil. TikTok, the devil. But my sources is through my fellow colleagues because I know they tell the truth all the time. Yeah, sure is. Wow.
Get the information that I need.
But I mean, if you're getting all of your information from law enforcement, that's just one side, right? When we're talking about...
Well, I'm not looking for sides. I'm looking for accuracy.
Well, we're talking about perspective, right? And your ability to kind of, adjudicate whether the information that's coming in is accurate or whether the way things are perceived by the public are legitimate or not. And if all of your sources are kind of confined to that one universe, you might not have that broader perspective.
I have a very...
In other words, it's being biased, you dumbass. You being biased like I ain't nothing, bro. Like, what the hell? I don't even know why he made that argument. That is crazy. That is crazy as hell. Like, what the hell?
Adjudicate whether the information that's coming in is accurate or whether the way things are perceived by the public are legitimate or not. And if all of your sources are kind of confined to that one universe, you might not have that broader perspective.
I have a very good perspective. I read books. I read articles at times. But I don't pollute my mind with a bunch of things that want me to think a certain way.
Oh my God. This dude here, he said, I have a very, very broad perspective. My broad perspective comes from me relying on my colleagues because I know they tell the truth all the time. You know what I'm saying? Wherever they tell me, I believe it. It don't matter. And then also I read books as well too. That's a valuable source as well too, because, books don't lie. Books don't give people, opinions or anecdotal experiences or anything like that. Even books cannot be fictional. It possibly cannot be fictional, you know what I mean? Because it's a credible source. It's a credible source. So I look towards these particular sources versus social media because social media is the devil. It's evil like I ain't nothing. Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's a fact. And anyone that is honest with themselves, they know which way the news has gone. It's gone in a way different direction. But I do get to get information. I get good information. I read articles. I read from like Roland Martin, for example. I read his report.
This this dude is, man, look, this dude is the gift that keeps on giving. This dude here said that his credible sources from Roland Down Martin. He said Roland Martin is his credible source. Do this dude not know that earlier today Roland Martin did a show talking about him and talking about how the way he's handling this case, but this is his source? Roland Martin roasted the hell out of this dude earlier today talking about this. So what is he talking about? Oh, my credible sources through journals and stuff like that. Like, what the hell? Oh my goodness. Wow. Man. That's why I was going to show y'all this, because I knew y'all wasn't going to believe it until you heard it for yourself, all right?
I read these things, but when it comes to sensationalization of what we do and the narratives that are out there, I reject them because they're not true. If we were doing a job solely to hurt people that of a community, of a member that I'm a member of, I'm a member of that community. If it's a fact and if it's right, why have I not suffered the consequences of some of the things that we've seen across?
Because, God damn it, because it's not your experience, it doesn't mean that other people is going to experience it. It's just that simple. I don't know what part of this he's not getting, why it's not clicking with him. Just because you have a certain experience, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't mean that the other person is going to gravitate towards your same experience. You know what I mean? Because we are human, we are different, we all have different experiences. Even within that, right? Within that, right? That doesn't mean that you literally sit up here and dismiss other people's experiences, saying that their experience is wrong and yours is right. You don't do that, period. That's crazy.
Across the country.
Well, perhaps they're not happening to every single person.
Well, perhaps they're not happening as much as people say they are.
But, I mean, that doesn't necessarily...
Look at this. What the hell? This dude here is wilding, boy. Man, Lord Jesus.
What we do and the narratives that are out there, I reject them because they're not true. If we were doing a job solely to hurt people that of a community, of a member that I'm a member of, I'm a member of that community. If it's a fact and if it's right, why have I not suffered the consequences of some of the things that we've seen across the country?
Well, perhaps they're not happening to every single person.
Well, perhaps they're not happening as much as people say they are.
But, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't systemic issues, right? Just because they don't happen to everybody.
That doesn't mean there's a systemic issue. That means there's issues out there. Example, why did this young man wait until July 20th or 19th to show this incident when he could have done that in March. He could have done that when he was done. Because it's just an opinion.
It's the same situation like I told y'all earlier with R. Kelly, with Diddy and the Me Too movement that's happening right now. It don't matter the time frame that they reported. What matters is that they reported it, period. That's what matters. Because once again, the reason why he keep re-emphasizing this is because he wanted to be in control of the situation. He wanted to be like, okay, this happened, and so we're going to control it the way that we want to control it. We're going to send this information out the way that we want to send it out. We're going to spin this narrative the way we want to spin the narrative out. That's pretty much what he's saying. This dude here, wild as hell.
Right. This is an opinion. I think he wants to inflame the public. And I don't want to be a part of the inflammation. I want to be a part of getting the information, looking at it objectively. And I think people would appreciate that. And looking at it objectively and answer the questions that need to be answered, show the public what they need to see, not come to a conclusion administratively about what's right and what's not right. Just show the public the information. Not afraid to stand up and talk about it. But I'm not going to run with the systemic thing because I started here in 1991. And just suddenly things are systemically bad.
Yeah.
I've been here too long. No one comes to this job. No one comes to work saying, I'm gonna stop me a black man and get into a fight with him and throw him in jail. It's unreasonable. And then the numbers of black males that we run across that have this happen is not as many as people say there are. We do it to white males, white females, white Hispanic males. Depends on a lot of it.
This dude here literally just admitted that they are equal opportunities. He said, fuck your race. It don't matter about your race or ethnicity. It don't matter about your gender. It don't matter about your sexual orientation. If we feel like we want to use excessive force on y'all, we're going to want to use excessive force on y'all for real. And we're gonna literally bend policy around and twist the law around to say that it's justifiable. That is some bullshit.
That's bullshit.
To be honest with you, people who had saw this particular thing, every race should be worried about this for real. Every ethnicity should be worried about this because this dude literally confessed to y'all that, hey, we equal opportunity. We're gonna want to do this and we don't care. I'm going to bat the blue regardless of the situation, period. That is crazy.
Depends upon where they take us and how this happens throughout the process. And if you look at that video, for example, they weren't rude to him when they stopped him. Very matter of fact, very honest when it came up. And the body camera didn't stop until after the arrest was effected. But just to, when I sit down and I listen to that, having the experience that I have in this job, this is not an easy job because everyone thinks they know how to do it. And they've never done it a day in their life. And I don't mean to sound arrogant. It's not what I'm doing. But everyone thinks they know how to do it. But not everybody's pulled over a car in the middle of the daytime when they're in a situation like that. No one's pulled over a car in the middle of the night where somebody maybe draws a gun on you, pulls a knife on you. Then you reflect on those things because you train on those things. And you know that can happen to you at any moment when you're on a traffic stop.
So in other words, he closed out by saying that, hey, y'all don't know nothing about our job. You don't know how to do our job. And to top it off, we are the ones who are the actual victims in this situation. Do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree with that perspective? Because I don't agree with that at all, period. And no matter about none of that, what he's talking about, what mattered at the end of the day is what happened in that situation. What happened in that situation was that, in fact, that Mr. McNeil was assaulted. He was battered with an officer over and over again. This dude was punched over and over again for no apparent reason. Excessive use of force for no apparent reason. Now, once again, could this be prevented on both sides? Absolutely. Mr. William McNeil, all he had to do is simply comply with the one officer, then he wouldn't have got punched out by the officer like Mike Tyson. The situation could have been de-escalated by the officer as well too, by him just simply doing his job. He didn't have to go do all this extra stuff like he did. Now, for us him doing and for us what he was doing, like for us like charging him for the arrest and breaking the window, yeah, that's justifiable because he's doing obstruction. He's resisting arrest. Yes, that's justifiable. But to literally sit up here well on this dude to punch him, no, you don't have to do that. Just do your damn job. Grab him and detain him. And that's it. You don't have to do all that extra stuff, period. You don't have to do all that. And it's just that simple. But according to how the way we are, as human beings these days, especially living in the times that we live in, we love to make things more complicated than what it is. And the reason why is because what I say all the time on this show is that a lot of us is lacking emotional intelligence. A lot of us is very hyper emotional for no apparent reason. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us haven't been taught how to skillfully deal with situations where you could go unscathed. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this particular episode. Y'all let me know how you feel about this. Do you agree with the situation that happened with Mr. McNeil for the officer using excessive force and the whole arrest and different things like that? Do you agree with that? Do you believe that it was justifiable for Mr. McNeil to step out of his open the car door up and then slam the car door and lock it up and stuff, right, and stay locked up in the car and not comply with the officer lawful command? Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that? What about the officer? The officer itself in question, and do you agree with the officer? He did everything possible to, be an officer and do his job. Do you believe him assaulting Mr. McNeil and battering him and stuff? Do you believe that that's justifiable? That was lawful and justifiable? You know what I mean? Even with the one sheriff as well too. His whole statement behind this. Well, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about his wife being a part of the investigation, where she's in charge of the whole entire department, right? And she had workers that work under her who's dealing with the case, right? And they came to the conclusion that it wasn't no criminal charge against that officer. Do y'all agree with that, or do y'all believe that there was some type of bias behind that situation? Well, what do y'all think? What about even the officer past prior records that he had, where he had plenty of complaints, where people been complaining about him using excessive force? How y'all feel about that? So y'all let me know in the comment section how you feel about all of this and stuff, okay? Other than that, I appreciate everybody tuning into this episode tonight. Make sure you hit that thumbs up as well too. If you ever share out the video, by all means, share out the video. And I will see y'all again on the next episode of The Lounge, y'all. Y'all have a great and wonderful night.